All these are streamed live on YouTube so that anyone from the public can observe if they would like. So that is going now. Looks like we have a separate attempt here to join from the owners. See how that goes. The last thing I need to do is just read our hearing script. Basically just covers the procedure of the hearing. And then we'll jump right into it. There we go. Hi, just do a quick sound check here.
Hello.
Hey, how are you today?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. So we have Sherry Griley
Yes.
and Scott Luke.
It's Luke Scott.
Luke Scott. Got it. Okay. So I'm just going to read through our hearing script now. That basically just covers the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll jump right into you guys tell me about the application. So this is the October 6th, 2021 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the zoning hearing examiner for the city of Cincinnati, and I'll preside over this hearing. The case before us today is case number ZH20210138. The purpose of this hearing is to allow the applicants and any opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. If there were anyone here from the public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicant had presented its case. I'll give our zoning plans examiner, Wes Monzel, an opportunity to add any commentary to his staff report. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to rebut that testimony and or argument offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make a closing statement. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. So for our purposes here today, I'll allow either the owners or Ms. Hagan to start by telling me about the project, why this variance request is appropriate. And then anyone else that would like to speak on applicant owner behalf, I'll give them that opportunity. I'll then go to Wes, allow Wes to add anything, and then back to you guys for any closing statements. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or make any comments. I may also refuse to consider hearsay testimony. This generally means testimony you want to introduce that consists of statements made by someone who's not actually present here at the hearing. In the event of any technical difficulties or unforeseen circumstances with our video conferencing technology, as we've already seen a little bit here, we'll do our best to troubleshoot those on the fly. But to the extent there's some sort of defect that'll prevents us from meaningfully going forward with the hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing if that happens to be the case. Okay, the last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, making any statements, asking any questions, doing anything other than just strictly observing, then you need to be sworn in. And so I'll do that now. So if you could take yourself off mute if you feel like you need to be sworn in and raise your right hand. I need everyone to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. I do. Yes.
I do.
Okay, great. So who's going to be taking the lead here on the presentation of the applicant's case?
I will go ahead and do that, and would love for them to also add any additional information that possibly is missed. But ultimately, we were hired by the homeowners to build an outdoor space, a deck specifically, to extend or allow them to have space in the rear yard of their home. Presently, they have a different setup where they're it's not, I guess, typical where the driveway comes in on the side of their home and wraps around the back, and then there are entrances into garages below their home. So it's actually their rear yard is basically mainly half pavement, and then the other half is grass. However, the grass is pretty far out from the rear of their home. So a deck and the entrance to the rear of their home is at the second story level. So it's not at ground level. So really, when we were called in to look at this situation, I'm sure that they had already, decided that a deck was the correct route to go to allow more space. The other challenge or the other scenario that presented was that there is an existing area that is paved or a patio area present above the first floor garage. So it's in essence a second story patio area. And the hope was to allow, because there is an exit entrance on that side of the home, but then there's no way to get down to the rear yard from there. There was no steps, there was nothing. So we designed a deck that would allow to connect that patio space and also connect to the rear exit of the home, which again was at the second story level, and existing right now is a crumbling set of steps, a small concrete landing and crumbling unsafe steps that come down to the driveway. So ultimately, there really was only one way to extend this space or to build the space for them. So we designed a deck. We had some challenges working around where we could place our posts to support the deck, because again, there are two garages that you can see in the picture that we've submitted that we have to avoid so that they still have the ability to utilize those both garages safely. So we couldn't just place posts wherever we wanted. On top of that, we soon learned that the home was already extremely close to the property line. So at some point after the home was built, when the zoning came through and the neighborhood was rezoned, the current home on the side that we're having the issue with sets presently 3.2 feet away from the property line. So the home itself didn't even meet the setback requirements for that street or that area. And so ultimately, what we were presented with was, in order to give them everything that they were hoping for, to connect the space, the upstairs patio, to the rest of the living space, and to place the deck in a spacing in which we weren't going to interfere with the garages below, we had to build, we really didn't have many options. We had to design it the way that we have presented the design. So ultimately, that's where we, landed, and it made the most sense to, proceed and ask for the variance based on the fact that we're not asking to extend the deck further out into the setbacks. We're really everything will stay in line with the home itself, but we are looking to span it across the entire back of the home.
Okay. So will you actually be extending the side setbacks at all from the existing home, or is it right in line with the side setbacks?
It is right in line with the setbacks. It will stay that way. We will only extend the deck out into the rear yard, which there was no setback concern there.
Okay. I think I'll hear from the homeowners if they want to add anything to that presentation.
I don't have anything to add. I feel like Jessica stated everything that was enclosed in our application.
Okay, great. Luke, anything?
No, I think she covered it all. Yeah.
Okay, great. Wes, anything you wanted to add to the testimony so far?
No, I mean, I just clarify or highlight that the house has been there. It has the 3.2 feet side setback, and they're just extending the deck in line with the the garage and the house facade. And the deck is above the garage, I believe,
Yes.
for a portion of it. So it's a reasonable request.
Okay. Thanks, Wes. So, and I take it this home is older than 2004, right? Is it constructed in the 30s? Is that right?
Yeah, 37.
Okay. And do you guys anticipate any adverse effects at all from the construction of this deck, either for neighboring property owners or the surrounding neighborhood?
No, we actually did discover that some of the neighbors, one directly next door, did also build a deck at one point and have a very similar setup. They actually shared a driveway with the family. So it would be very similar to the neighborhood's aesthetic of what is already there.
Gotcha. So it's generally compatible with the neighborhood and the predominant building and structure patterns around the neighborhood.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. I think that's all the questions I have. So anything in closing or otherwise before we adjourn?
As you know, as stated, we have explained a little bit more in depth in our application of, just in reference to how this will affect. But we just thank you for your time and consideration in this. I think the request is not abnormal or unusual, and I do think it will do nothing but positive things for the family and for the neighborhood value of the home, et cetera. So thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for your presentation. This application will be approved. I need to formalize that in a written decision. And so that's what usually takes a little bit longer. That's usually about a couple weeks. Knowing that it's going to be approved, if you haven't already put in permitting docs and applied for the permits, you can do that, which could cut down on some lag time. But as soon as I finish that decision, I put it into a PDF. I email it to everyone who's in the hearing. So you all will have a copy of it just moments after it's completed. And then you can work with Wes and the zoning department to finish up those permits.
Excellent. They have been placed and they are almost completed with Diana Anderson in the building department.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Any other questions right now?
No, thank you so much for your time.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you, guys. If anything comes up, feel free to reach out to myself or Wes.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you
you.
both.
Take care.